Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be talking about two major hormones and how they play a huge part in your weight loss journey. I will give you some tips, things that have worked for me and that work for my patients in clinic, so hopefully you can adopt some of these and they will help you as well. First hormone that I'll talk about, of course, is insulin. I'm sure you've heard about insulin. This hormone has a bad rap, and yes, it is bad news if its levels are high in your body. So what is insulin? Insulin is a hormone that is produced in your pancreas. That's an organ that you have. It's produced in response to carbohydrate consumption. So each time you eat a meal, there are three major food groups: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Insulin is the one that's released in response to carbohydrate consumption because it helps you break down those carbohydrates and store them. Insulin, however, is nicknamed a fat storage hormone just for that reason. Number one, it helps your body store fat. And number two, it prevents the fat that you have stored, prevents it from being released. So if you are trying to lose weight, you definitely want your insulin levels to be low. You just don't want those levels to be elevated. Remember, every time that your insulin levels are high, your body is more efficient at storing fat, and it's also efficient at holding onto the fat because insulin levels are elevated. So now, in practice, how do we actually lower our insulin levels, which is what we want to try to do if we want to lose weight? So number one, to lower your insulin levels, of course, you want to decrease your consumption of refined carbohydrates. So refined carbohydrates, of course, we know that they are things like cookies and cakes and the junk food, chocolate, things that are high in sodas. Most of you have already eliminated those. However, there are some foods that we may be consuming thinking that they are healthy. However, they have quite a few hidden carbohydrates. The biggest one that I can tell you is store-bought smoothies. You know, they have these smoothies in a bottle. Some of those are loaded with sugar. What you want to do is look at the nutritional content or the nutrition facts of everything that you purchase. So let's look together at this single serving per container store-bought smoothie. I went on to Walmart and I got this one. It says 270 calories per servings. It is 11 ounces. So keep in mind, this is a meal because it has 240 calories. It has more than 240 calories. If we look down further, this one has 52 grams of carbs. That is a whopping 13 teaspoons of sugar because each teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams. So this is why I say store-bought smoothies. The whole concept sounds healthy, but it may really not be healthy. Be careful. Another place where refined carbohydrates are hidden in benign places are things like yogurt. I mean, some of these yogurts have 30 grams of carbohydrates, 28 grams of carbohydrates. Consider the fact that milk in its natural form has 6 to 7 grams of carbohydrates. So when you pick up a small container of yogurt that has 30 grams of carbohydrate, that means that somebody has added about 6 teaspoons of carbohydrates to that. Hidden carbs, be careful with those. Another healthy food that is loaded with sugars is fruit juice. Be careful with fruit juice because fruit juice contains a concentrated amount of sugar. It will make your insulin levels go up and you will have a fat storage environment on the inside. Fruit juice and dry fruits. Dry fruits are just about the same because dry fruits also contain concentrated amounts of sugars. I am not saying that carbohydrates are bad for you, but what I'm saying is go with the healthier choices, the complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are great because when you consume them, your blood sugars go up slowly, so you don't have that huge spike in insulin like you would have if you consumed a refined carbohydrate. The next thing that you can do to keep your insulin levels low is intermittent fasting. Remember that our insulin levels go up each time we consume carbohydrates. When I say intermittent fasting, some people just get totally creeped out and they say, oh goodness, I don't want to starve. Now, intermittent fasting is not starvation. It's just a timed, scheduled eating, meaning you eat at a certain time window, and then the rest of the time you're drinking just water, unsweetened tea, and unsweetened coffee. But remember that if you can fast around the time that you sleep to use the benefit of the hours that you're sleeping, if you can fast for 14 to 16 hours, then you have the greatest benefit of lowering your insulin levels enough for fat loss. So just try it. Try it small. If you haven't fasted before, try fasting for 12 hours around the times that you're sleeping, and then extend your fasting window to 14 hours and 16 hours. Resistance exercises, so using your body weight or using barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, any form of resistance exercises will help you because your muscles also will be utilizing glucose without the need of insulin. That's another way to keep your insulin levels down. Instead of just jogging on a treadmill steady pace for an hour, why not reduce the amount of time that you're going to spend on that treadmill and actually sprint as fast as you can, maximum effort for 30 seconds, and then slow it down for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then speed it up again, maximum effort right there for 20-30 seconds, and slow it down, and so on and so forth. Works out much better for you for weight loss, and it would help drive those insulin levels low because your body actually is just using glucose without needing insulin. Now, the second hormone that I'll talk about today is cortisol. Cortisol is a steroid hormone that is produced in the adrenal glands. Now, your adrenal glands are two small glands that sit on the top of your kidneys, one on each side. We have cortisol receptors all over our bodies, and this is the reason why cortisol is a hormone that can affect several different bodily functions, such as your mood, your blood pressure, your heart rate. It can affect your salt and water balance. It can cause you to have bloating or fluid retention. Elevated cortisol levels cause increased belly fat storage, which is what we don't want. So you want to keep your cortisol levels low. One of the best ways to keep your cortisol levels low is to decrease your stress. What can you do to manage your stress? One of the biggest ways that I've found that work for me is positive affirmations, because I'm aware that life will always be there and I don't have any control over life the way it is out there. So all I can do is control the way that I respond to the hands that life deals to me. And in order to do that, I practice meditation. I love to wake up in the morning and practice what I call an hour of power. Now, it's not always an hour that I have. I may have 15 minutes, I may have 10 minutes, I may have a whole hour, but I always try to wake up a little early in the morning and just spend some time with myself. I mean, you just have a better handle of your emotions when you stop and think and meditate and pray first thing in the morning before you go out there. So managing your stress is very important. Thinking about meditation, deep breathing exercises, positive affirmations and things like that are very helpful. I always say to those of my friends who are just extremely stressed and depressed and things like that, that's actually a medical illness, and I would recommend that you seek advice if your emotions are just so out of control that they prevent you from functioning normally. Please seek help. So just a quick recap, we've talked about two hormones today: insulin and cortisol. Insulin is the fat storage hormone in order to keep those levels low, which is what you want. You don't want your body to be a fat storage environment on the inside. So to keep insulin levels low, decrease your consumption of refined carbohydrates. Number 2, practice intermittent fasting. And number 3, exercise. Exercise high intensity interval exercises as well as resistance exercises. The second hormone that we talked about was the stress hormone, cortisol levels. Cortisol levels just being chronically elevated can cause increase in belly fat, it can cause increased blood pressure, increased heart rate. And in addition to that, one thing I didn't say is when cortisol levels are elevated for too long, they tend to bring insulin levels with them also. Now, to lower your cortisol levels, the best way is to lower your stress. Either try to do it yourself with meditation, prayer, positive affirmations, or seek help, professional help, just to help you work things through and to be able to cope with the amount of stress that you have. Anytime that I put out a video like this, my hope is that you can find 1 or 2 things that resonate with you, that you can take action on right now and start to make that difference in your health and wellness journey. I certainly wish you all the best of success. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Ring that notification bell so that each time I put out a video like this, you get notified. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.